Hello everybody, it's your baby boomer Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, and welcome to another Create and Relate. It is September 5th. I am due to work on row 5 of my crochet along. Crazy thing, me and my electronics. I actually recorded the video, and being that I don't know how to edit and add to videos, I went ahead on and just recorded another one. I actually did the row. I did the round. I told y'all I'd get it right one day, probably when it's all done. So I actually did the round. But like I said, I don't know how to add to the video once it stops. It's like done. I don't know how to put it in. So as I learn how to do things, then maybe I won't have to redo. I'm not going to take it out. I love you guys with everything in me. I really do. But I love me too. And I love my time and my responsibilities. So I'm not going to take it out. Ultimately, that's where we're going with this, okay? So, wow, I'm almost down 4 balls. So what we're going to do is, oh guys, this morning, it's way over there. So I got up late. I did, but I'm good about it, that means that I got my sleep. I sat in the chair last night with the intentions of being in bed by 1, and when 1 o'clock, I never saw 1 o'clock come. So when I woke up at 2:18, I was like, yeah, that bed looks mighty good. And I got up and got in it. And y'all, my daughter woke up, and no, I woke up at 6 something, and I called her, and I was like, you at the job? She's like, no, I overslept. I'm getting ready now. Okay, cool. I remember her leaving, but then I went back to sleep. And it was after 11 when I got up. So I've literally been up long enough to take care of all my, I call it my morning ritual. I guess you can see me shiny and everything. That is my wonderful coconut oil. Yes, organic, unrefined. Yes, virgin coconut oil. I do oil pulling. I moisturize. When I wash my hair, I put some in the palm of my hands and mix it with the shampoo and put it in. It's good for you. So, I'm contemplating whether or not to do tomorrow's round. I don't want to skip ahead. I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see what 30 rounds it's going to be, and especially knowing what I'm using it for. And he has no idea. My grandson has no idea that this is for him. But I can tell you that what I've done today, this is the only crocheting I've done today, my 80 stitches. But I did manage to make 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cakes. And I basically caked up the Dollar Tree balls that I had. Works so much better for me when they're in balls. So what I'm going to focus on today is like the extra yarn that I have hanging around. A while ago, I started doing my stitches per day. And I set my goal like really high. I wanted to do, at first I said I wanted to do 10,000 stitches a day. Not that it's not realistic. That's giving myself the absolute minimum that I do in an hour, which is like 1,000 stitches. That would have been 10 hours. I basically don't go anywhere. But I did not account for the fact that I am dedicated to my YouTube channel. I'm dedicated to you guys. I am still a grandmother I am a grandmother, and when my babies require my attention, they get it. You know, I don't. My granddaughter is level 2 autistic. She is verbal. She's also ADHD. My grandson is ADHD. Both of them also, like their grandmother, have PTSD. We were involved in a car accident several years ago, and they still have flashbacks and nightmares about them. So, and certain noises, like when they hear tires screech, even though he never stopped, he bless his heart. I often wonder how he's doing. I mean, he was out walking around and everything, but I really often wonder how the other driver is doing, because he was older, you know, and he did not see that his light was red, and it could have been so much worse, but it wasn't. He hit the rear end passenger side of my car, and we spun around. Fortunately, we didn't hit anything else, not even the curb. It could have happened that way, but it didn't. I thank God for that. I thank God that my grandkids weren't physically hurt in any way. No cuts, no scrapes, no bruises. I suffered the brunt of everything. I am so grateful that as much as I dislike seatbelts, I made my babies strap up. I even strapped up that day, which is where most of my injuries came from, which is why I really don't like them. But I had sustained damage to both of my hips and my shoulder. The hips from the seat belt and me being jostled back and forth. Whew, okay. But because of the fact that they do require attention, I give it. Okay. So does their mothers, so do their aunties. You know, the babies get what they need at home. On top of that, here recently I shared with you, and you all have seen in videos, that these kids are absolutely beautiful. And, you know, we hear people's comments, and it makes us leery. So we're very protective of them. Enough of that. But at any rate, you know, in cooking for them and trying to make things easier for my daughter as I can, because the brunt of everything here in our home falls on her shoulders. And for a 34-year-old woman who really has had no life of her own, it's a lot, and I know it is. And I want to try to take some of that off of her, which is one of the reasons for my fight to get better. I want to be better. Woo! Y'all need to stop. Y'all just need to cut it out. You know you're not right. So, last night, I can tell you this. Look, stop. Come back here. See? This is why I have to make cakes out of them. But I couldn't find a starting point, and I got frustrated last night, so I was like, you know what? We're going to work on this as it is. So I came up with this. This is like the start of my first Boggy Creek, but I didn't even tell you about that. See? Here we go. Okay, so what has happened is I've not been in contact with anyone from the G.R.O.W Foundation in like a week. I know when I go to their site, because I usually go up there daily just to see the status of what's going on, and it still says temporarily unavailable. So I have a lot of yarn. I have a massive amount of yarn, and I need to get it down. I need to get it to a manageable point. A lot of it would be, I'm missing a hook, guys. Okay, all right, but a lot of it would be making cakes and packing things a little differently. But the other part of it is using it. So in that, knowing that the Boggy Creek drive is going on, I wanted to at least make a couple of blankets for them. I also thought about the blanket that I made because they have size restrictions. Adding to the baby blankets because I make car seat covers, and they want actual blankets, and they had certain themes, and I'm going to donate to the Boggy Creek blankets, so I'm going to work on that and making it bigger and better. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about, it escapes me. I have talked to you about self-awareness. Still on the lines of self, I have to bring up one that is so important, and that is self-worth. Know what you're worth. Know, and this is a little different than self-value, in that in self-value, it's more along the lines of morality, but self-worth is literally not selling yourself short. It's telling yourself, hey, I don't deserve your banter. I don't deserve your disrespect. I don't deserve, however, I do deserve, and it's just it's a little different, but the little bit of difference is very impactful. Lots of times in bad situations, when we find ourselves in bad situations, it's because we've lost sense of our self-worth. And we need to realize just how worthy we are. We need to understand that God didn't make any mistakes. We may have encountered things along the way. I tend to look at my situations, and this is just me, but everything negative that has happened in my life has made me who I am today. And a lot of things that happen to me or that I go through are not even necessarily for me. Sometimes it's meant for me to be a testimony for the next person. And I accept the role of being a living testimony. Yes, I do get in my carnal moments, and I ask God, when? How much longer I got to do this? I'm human. But at the same time, I look at the year that I had in 2021. Oh my goodness. When I go back and I think about that year and how sick I was for practically the entire year, and I look at today, and yes, I'm human. I do complain about the bumps and bruises and the aches and pains, but anything that I've gone through since, I would say, the middle of November of 2021 has been nothing compared to January to November of 2021. Nothing. The diaper rash, the lymphoma forming, the swelling of the feet, and the back pain, nothing. Y'all, I was in the hospital for sepsis shock. I had 2 surgical kidney stone removals, 2 cataract removals, emergency stent placement, and then infection on top of infection on top of infection behind the kidney stones. It was just a lot in a year's time, and walking, I drove down to the beach delirious. When I came back, I was talking so much in my sleep. We had dinner that day. My daughter got me up to come eat dinner. I went up and I had dinner with everybody, and I don't even remember what we had to eat. I know what they told me, but I don't remember it. They said I came back and laid down. The only thing I had taken off was my shoes. I climbed in my bed and my jacket. Y'all, I don't do that. my oldest daughter came back and told me, Mom, get up and put your shoes on. We're taking you to the hospital. I vaguely remember that. It's like I remember a time that she came in the room and she was serious. This is, if y'all know the Smurfs, this is my jokey. She jokes about everything, you know. So for her to be serious, I do remember a serious moment. I also remember being at the hospital. I remember thinking some not so nice things and trying not to say them, but it's just like something took over and I said them anyway. It wasn't horrible, but it was not so nice. Like, they were trying to catheterize me, and I think one was a nurse in training and the other one was showing her, and they unsuccessfully tried 3 times. And I said something to the effect of, when y'all get through playing around down there, can you please go find somebody who knows what they're doing? But I used some kind of flagrant words. I didn't yell. I didn't call them any names, you know, but I did, you know, drop a couple of bombs that were not so nice. These people were there trying to help me, you know. And by the time I got upstairs and the antibiotics started working, I asked them upstairs, can you please go downstairs and apologize to those nurses for me, because that's really not me. That's really not me. I felt really bad about it. But yeah, I think the fact that I have come through, the fact that I'm able to get on my scooter and go pick up my kids from the, you know, the fact that I was able to get out and walk around Dollar Tree. You look at what I've gone through since being on YouTube, not being able to walk across to the mailbox, but yet and still I walked around 2 Dollar Trees on Monday. I was sore as all get out Tuesday and Wednesday, but I was able to do it, guys. So that makes me a testimony for the next person, and I realize how valuable and worthy that makes me. May not be in man's eyes. I'm not here for man. I am, but I'm not. You know, it's like I know that I'm here to be an example, not only because of who God made me, but the fact that I am 60 years old. That puts me in a position to be an example for the younger generation. I think a lot of people my age and maybe a little younger and definitely up to 10 years older forgot that that's what we do. It's been a lost art for a little while now, and our youth are coming up totally clueless, and it's our fault. It's our fault. Yes, I'm that one. I don't delve into business, but when they start coming close and start coming in, I will teach, but I teach in a loving way. I do. I guess that's what makes the gravitational pull so strong, because they appreciate, hey, you know, instead of, my daughter does it all the time. If she sees a child disrespecting their parent out in public, she would check that child. She'll ask the mother's permission first, but she will check that child. She'll let them know in a heartbeat, that's your mama. And you wouldn't even be here if it weren't for her. That's the last person you disrespect. My daughter will do that on a heartbeat. Sometimes it scares me, but she does it. And I remember coming up as a child, seeing other mothers do that for kids. I always respected mine. I was too scared not to. But guys, I'm going to pause for a minute. I got to go get my babies. I'll be back though.